Welcome to In Heels with Keni Silva, and today we have a young lady whose parents wanted to be a doctor, but she decided to choose a different path, and she came all the way to Hollywood, and now she's one of the most sought after young actresses. Welcome, Caylee. When I've heard your story that your parents wanted to be a doctor, this is so typical. I have two kids, and I'm like, and my daughter, she's a musician. She wants to be, Taylor Swift. And I'm like, Alexis, you still have to get a degree and become somebody else. For some reason, I guess parents don't look as acting or singing as a real career. So I understand that your parents wanted you to be a doctor, but did you actually did some schooling before you started acting? Did you try it out that's something you want?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of parents understand that that's not an easy career path to take, a creative one. There's a lot of ups and downs and rejection, and I think a lot of parents want to protect their kids from that, from having their hopes or their dreams or things that they love crushed. With that said, yeah, my mom, she wanted me to be a doctor because we were from a low-income family, and doctors and lawyers make money, or that's what they believe, but there's a lot of schooling involved, and I was actually one of the students that got chosen to shadow doctors at Mayo Clinic during my junior year in high school, and so I got a really great opportunity of going to the hospitals and following people. And my first day, I actually got sick, and I vomited when I saw some blood being drawn. So
okay, that was I guess that was the end of the doctor career.
Yeah.
This is where you knew, you know what? I can only watch it in the movies, right? Some blood.
Yeah. Well, fake blood's a lot different than real blood. It's stickier and it's sweeter.
Really? So you get to actually I watched the trailers for several of the movies, and they had some blood there. So you did taste some fake blood.
Oh yeah.
Play in the movies.
I've had fake blood everywhere. I've had fake blood in my eyes, in my nose, in my mouth, in my ears.
Did it feel scary when it happened, or because you already knew what to expect, it was okay?
Oh no, not scary at all. There's nothing scary about fake blood. It stains your body. There's nothing really scary about it at all. It's kind of silly, actually.
Okay, let's get back to how you came to Hollywood and how you started. So what was your dream? You wanted to be an actress, or you wanted to be in the theater? What led you to Hollywood?
I started in theater, and then I came here because I wanted to do films. I really love the process of watching a book be turned into a movie, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I really like, I'm a visual learner, and I'm a visual when it comes to being creative, and that's kind of what I aspired to do, and so I moved here to do it.
When you audition for a movie, first I would imagine you have to read a script, and then you have to think if you like it or not, right? Or there is times where, you know what, I'm just gonna do it to challenge myself. How does it work, the whole process of picking what do you want to audition for? Your agent calls you like, Caylee, I want you to audition for this. Do you have a say into it? Like, no, I don't want to do this, I'll pass. Or you love challenging yourself and try something new?
You always have a say. You have a say all the time. I'm open to a lot of different roles. There's obviously things that I want to do and aspire to do, but for the most part, it's when you're starting out as an actor, you audition a lot.
So what's your ideal role that you see yourself playing?
I like period pieces. I like dramas. I like real stories. I like stories that are based on books. I like fantasy. I love anything that has a lot of IP, something that you can return to and dig into. And right now I'm really interested in period dramas and historical fiction.
Do you have a special way how you prepare yourself for a movie or for an audition? Like, how is it? Because I believe that every woman is an actress in some capacity, because we all get times when we act, either in a relationship or at work or with your children or with your friends. So I do believe it's in us when we don't really seek for it, but for you, it's actually a job, and it's not always what you go through it. You have to become a different character. How do you prepare yourself for that?
We're all actors. you know, everybody. We all have different personalities and faces that we put on during the day when we're working or when we're with our kids. And being an actor is kind of like celebrating what it is to be human on a, you know, in a creative way. Like if it was just a hobby, like that would be what you'd be exploring as the art form. To make it into a career, it's a little bit different. Like when I prepare for a job, for an audition, it's different than when I prepare for a movie. And how long you get to sit with a character is also really important, and how much research you get to do. The more time that you have to prepare, the more you can really delve into who that person is, and then you can decide with your character what kind of masks they wear. Like how do they act differently when they're with their kids, or when they're working, or when they're talking to their husband. Because we all do that. We all have these layers, and we all have things that we're masking. And the longer you get to sit with a character, the more you get to decide, what are they masking? What trauma do they have? Or what are they hiding? And how are they presenting to the world that isn't true?
Was there any, once you audition and they picked you for a role, and then you dive deeper into the whole character, was there any time that you said, you know what, I don't think it's for me, or it's more challenging than I thought?
Oh my God, all the time.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as I start getting deeper into it, I'm like, whoa, this is maybe too much. But I usually, if I really feel called to do something, and that usually is, you know, my acting coach used to say that the projects pick you as much as you pick them. Like you're called.
That's a good way of saying it.
So when I feel that calling and I commit to it, I usually feel like I have to follow through with it. And even when it's scary or it gets hard, that's an indicator that you know you're on the right path.
Yes. Well, listen, I feel like every time there is something scary or a thing that you don't know, it's honestly a lesson for you to learn and to get to your next level, and a challenge that you have to overcome to become, you know, a bigger person or a bigger actress, or just find that potential in you that you didn't even know that exists.
Yeah, it's like a muscle, right? Like
Yeah,
the more
I guess, yes.
you're breaking it, the more you have the capacity to grow it.
Yes, but you know, with you, I watched several of the movies. One is the Willy's Wonderland. I guess a lot of people, and I mean, you were blonde in that movie, right? That's the movie you were like completely different. And you know, the other one, Frank and Penelope, and both of them has a little, not a horror, I don't even know, but they are thrillers with a lot of violence or scare. And I was like, wow, I don't know why I would never think of you as being in those movies. Even when I watched it, I mean, you were amazing, but it's not something I guess I would imagine you playing. Yeah. How did you find these roles were challenging for you, or was something that this is you know, because we all, like, for example, for me, if I would play, I would want to be a James Bond girl, you know, like kick ass. Like, I don't need drama. I don't want like watching it's different, like playing comedy, like I would be that. So tell me about these two roles, because they're I feel like has a similar feel to it.
Yeah, they're a bit, one is I feel more like a comedy, even though it's a horror, and the other one has a bit of romance in my character's arc. Both of those were projects I auditioned for and got cast in, and I guess I didn't really, I knew it was a horror, but I saw that there was like other elements to explore in those projects. And you know, one was a project I auditioned for, and I flew out the next week for the Willy's Wonderland one, and I made the actress Emily Tosta, who plays the lead. Me and her became best friends, so I met one of my best friends on that set.
That's amazing.
But my character had maybe 18 lines total in the movie. She was in a group of guys, and I didn't know how to prepare best for that one, because there wasn't a lot of source material to go off of. But we had fun with the creative look of her and what she wore, and it's just a silly movie, you know. We did it right before COVID, and it was fun to work with Nick Cage as well. And with Frank and Penelope, yeah, I did like an accent and like did the whole, there was kind of like a James Dean, Marilyn Monroe kind of energy, but contemporary between them, and that was really fun to play with. And she was like a stripper who was, her survival in life was really based in her sexuality, and that was something fun that I got to explore there. And we made that in a ghost town right after COVID too, so it was really, yeah, it was a fun experience. It was quite a while ago.
Was that the first time you were blonde, or?
No, I was blonde in my first movie, Sunrise in Heaven, and it was after that movie, though, that I decided to dye my hair black. And it was after that movie, though, that I decided to dye my hair black. We had, I'm sure you understand because you're blonde, but we had dyed my hair, my regrowth during the movie on set. In the makeup trailer without any water. The water stopped working while the bleach was on my head. So we started taking water out of water bottles, like, plastic drinking water bottles, and pouring it on my head to get the bleach out. And it was really damaging on my hair. So after that, I was like, I'm going to dye it black and just I'm going to chop it off and dye it black.
Oh my God. I mean, I can only imagine the things you go through, just to prepare the... Becoming blonde is very hard, but not being able to just dye it in the trailer, not being washed.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage. And did you have to do a lot of changes to your hair during your career? Or it was the only time like blonde and dark hair? Or were there any other ones?
Oh, one time I had a red wig.
The wigs are always easier, right?
It wasn't a great wig, but it was red and it was long, and I played a Christmas angel. That was fun. And then after that, I just played a role where I had to keep my hair dark and grow it out long. And this is all my natural hair now. And then I think after this, I might shave my head.
Well, you have a beautiful hair, and I'm pretty sure you're going to look pretty good being bald, but I don't think it's going to be that many unless you're auditioning for a cancer survivor. You're gonna be interested to that many directors.
Or something, maybe Mad Max, I don't know, who knows.
Exactly. Do you have any favorite directors or producers that you really like on your list to work with?
Gosh, yeah. I've always loved David Fincher, and I've loved, Quentin Tarantino's work, and I love, I really love like female directors right now. Like I have a long list of female directors I want to work with. I think that is such a different energy, but
yes,
yeah, I
feel like it's amazing this year because I go to film festival every year and I invest a lot into movies, and there's always now an event where they celebrate women in cinema as directors, producers, creators. I think it's so important to acknowledge that whole space that women can do it all too. It's not just men, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, for me working with women, it's completely different, and I think women see things different and more detail oriented, I would think. Is it easy to work with men directors or producers, directors versus female?
I wouldn't say it's easier or harder per se. That's like an individual thing and how you click with them, but it's definitely different because one's usually through the male gaze and the other one's through a female gaze, and those are different. Like the attention to certain details.
Yeah. Like
a woman director, for instance, might give more time or producer might give more time to like hair and makeup for a project because or wardrobe, they might pay more attention to like what a character's wearing, whereas like a man might not, he might just not be as involved in that process and just allow it to be decided amongst the actor and the costume designer. But it's that's one aspect of it, but also the stories that we tell, how for so long, like women had a complaint about being seen as like just a man's wife or just a mother, or pigeonholed, and their characters weren't really as diverse or complex as they would have liked them to be. But now, with more women stepping into those fields behind the camera, I feel like we've got more well-rounded roles for us to play.
You know, I actually never thought about that, but you absolutely right, because if we look back, like even I was saying, like, oh, James Bond girl, but it's also, it's a girl that belongs to James Bond. It's
Yeah.
not, you know. And I never actually thought about it until you just said it, that I think it's so true that now with more female, you know, directors and producers, there's more roles that's woman oriented, or woman is in charge, or changing the dynamic of, you know, of the structure of the family, and it's all changing, which I think is amazing, because it shows that, you know, we're not just being mothers and wives, we are also creators, and we can build things. And you know, it's interesting you said that, because now every movie I will watch, I will be like, okay, is it directed by a female, or what's the story behind it?
And that's not always directly correlated. Like, there's a lot of women who still see that stereotypical female role as being empowering, and it is. Like, that's why that actress who embodied the role of James, a Bond girl, for instance, was so captivating to us, because she really embodied it and was empowered by it. And then we look at that and we're like, well, yeah, I want to be that. But there's also movies like, you know, I just watched this movie called If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And I don't think it's out yet, but you know, Rose Byrne just does an incredible job portraying so beautifully what it's like to be a mother, and to be a mother dealing with a sick child. And gosh, I really hope she gets nominated for it, because it was so beautiful and so truthful, and it pulled no punches. And it was directed by a woman who had that same shared experience. And when the two of them made that movie together, I think it just, it's not James Bond, but it's empowering, because women can relate to that. It's not an easy job, and it's not one that a man fully understands either. And it touches on that in the film, and I think that's a great example of, like, when a woman is making a movie and another woman is the lead of it, like what kind of story we're telling.
But I think you're absolutely right, because me being a mom, a lot of people don't realize, and I know you're still very young, you know, and you don't have kids, that being a mother is one of the hardest jobs in the world. Not only because the responsibility you have for that child, like imagine it's I don't know if you have a dog or not, but it's another person that you are until they're 18 in charge, from picking their schools to medical assistance if they need something, and knowing that you have to provide, you have to feed. And it's always mainly, you know, like, of course it's great if you have two parents, but if it's not, it's usually the mom. Even if it's a married couple, it's usually the mom who makes all these decisions. And at the end of the day, when I look at my kids and what they accomplish, I feel like that if something goes wrong, I feel like it's my fault. I feel like a failure as a mother, that I didn't maybe raise them in a way that, you know, I gave them that strength or that courage, or that they didn't achieve something, and I always take the blame for me. So men don't look at it, they look at it completely different. I always say, you know, even in my book, that men and women are so different, and I'm raising one of each, so I know the difference. But I think for another woman to show that in the movie, exactly like you said, that job is not easy. It's only, I think, a woman knowing what it is can feel it and show it, because I don't think men, even they know it, but I don't think they will be capable of showing that, especially in the movie.
That's an interesting point. I've never, I mean, I don't have kids.
Yes.
But I
Not
also,
yet.
I also have given a lot of thought to what it must have been like for my parents, but I don't think it's something you can ever fully understand until you go through it.
You know, it's funny, because, for example, with my mom, no matter what problem I have or whatever, I would never look at it as it's her fault, like that my mom did something wrong in raising me, that I didn't get somewhere, or I didn't succeed, or I didn't do something. I would never relate it as her fault. But me being as a parent, I look at every little thing of my kid as my problem. So I guess it's a very different, perspective as being a daughter and being a mother. And it's very philosophical how you look at things.
Yeah.
But that's what's, and I guess every mother looks at it differently too.
Yeah. Is it because you feel like they're an extension of yourself?
Yes. So first, when you have them for 9 months, you already feel like you are in charge of this little thing you're creating. You are a creator. A woman is a creator. They create something from a little, seed, as you call it, and then this whole person just comes out of you. Yeah. And you feel that attachment. And I remember with my second child, because my first daughter, she was the love of my life. And I'm like, wow, how a person can love somebody so much. And I remember thinking when I was pregnant with my son, please God, I just want to love him as much, because I didn't know that I'm capable of that. Because as a woman, you love, your husband, then you love your child, then you love another child. And it's that love, it's unconditional love, it's the love you don't know until you have a child. That's a true unconditional love. When if you see something is like you would kill for you. This is when they say, a parent can kill for a child. This is 100% true, because the feelings you have, how much you want to protect them, how much you're going to take heat and hurt and everything for your child. It gives me every day strength to wake up and do what I do and sleep 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day, just because I know I can get sick, I know I get this, I need to be strong for them. It's the biggest strength, force that you can get. To be strong for them. It's the biggest strength, force that you can get.
I've heard it said in the past that the closest thing to God's love is a mother's love.
Yes.
That agape kind of love. Like so unconditional, doesn't need to be earned. There's nothing you can do to destroy it. Yeah. It just is.
And then when they're little, they depend on you. All this, first they're inside of you, then they're so little they depend on you, from eating to everything. And then your biggest fear, what if something happens to you? How they're gonna survive? That's how it starts. And they're like who's going to feed them, how they're going to do it, and that's why I feel like the biggest challenge for parents is to learn to let go. Once the kids are already sufficient, to be like, cut the cord, go. Because it's hard, it's hard to see your child suffer. It's hard your child to go through different vicissitudes of life. You just want them always to have a beautiful path that's clean and clear. But it doesn't happen like that. And as a parent, you have to teach them how to fly, and if you fall, how to start again and to fly again.
Yeah, letting go is such an important process in creativity as well. You can't hold on to something so hard that you hinder it from being fully expressed. It's so interesting how making a movie is like being a parent to something, like being a producer of something is like being a parent to it. And even the creation process of a movie, like you make it, and then it takes 9 months to a year until you see the finished product. I always thought it was kind of like that too.
Have you ever produced a movie, or were you thinking? Oh, you did?
Yes, I produce as well.
Oh.
So there's projects I've been cast in and auditioned for, and then there are movies that I've produced. And I actually produced a movie called Mother and Me, where I also acted in it. And we made that movie for, well, I'm not allowed to say how much we made it for, but we made it for very little, a very, very small amount of money. And it was a true indie. And I was there every single day on set producing and acting in it, and even beforehand. And I've also executive produced, where I helped to put the pieces together, but I was still learning. And now this movie that I'm currently on, I am also producing on, and it's fun to do that, because I learned so much about all the other aspects that go into making a movie than just acting and directing. You have to learn about camera packages, lenses,
Budgeting.
Exactly. And looking over the budgets, you know, that's more of like a line producer's
Yeah.
job, but I've also had to like review it and try and cut down on the budget while still making things fair and amicable between everybody that's involved, and but also trying to make the movie work.
But it's true, like the producing of the movie is for you like making that baby and then letting it go.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was writing my book, and it took me almost 2 years until it got published, I remember the day of the book launch, we were driving to the event, and I swear I felt the same way, like I was going to the hospital to deliver the baby.
Yeah.
I was the third time in my life, like I don't think even with my kids, I was so nervous. And I remember my boyfriend was like, well, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. It's like my baby only has one chance. Like if with kids, they change, you know, like
Yeah.
this baby is like, it's gonna come out and only has one chance, and it's gonna be either judged or loved. There's
Yeah.
no second one, because this is it, it's coming out. And I was very nervous, you know, how the world will see it. So I'm pretty sure the same thing with the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you can draw a lot of parallels to it. Obviously, they're very different things, but it's the creative process, you know, and it feels similar. But it's also kind of like when you drop your kid off at the first day of school,
Yes.
and you can't control what other people are going to think about it or how other people perceive it. But all you know is that you love it so much, and you care about it, and you'll protect it, and you'll fight for it, and you never judge it. And that's how I feel about my characters as well. Like, I never judge them, no matter how complicated or complex they are, what type of decisions they make, even if I don't personally agree with them. You want the best for them.
Right.
And you want the best for your movie too when you're a producer of it, because you want people to receive it well, and you want people to understand that message of love and the reason why you love it. Yeah, but it's
Do
a
you
fun
prefer
process.
acting or producing, or both?
You know, I prefer both. I like to right now I like producing and acting, and I like doing it on the same project. I actually, the more involved I got as a producer, the more I was like, I think I just like being an actor, because it was so.
Is that the responsibility?
So you have so much responsibility. You have so much. Your attention gets pulled in so many different directions, and you have to make sure everybody's okay. Everybody's like taken care of. All of the. I've never. I directed a short film one time, and I can only think like it's what it must be like to direct and act in something, because as a director, you're always being asked for approval of everything. You have to. It's so complicated, but eventually one day I want to also not only produce but direct. But I'm not ready for that yet. But eventually I would like to do that.
Well, I guess an actor is a passenger seat in the car, right?
Yeah.
And being a producer, you're actually in a driver's seat.
Yeah.
And you get to choose where it's going to go.
Yeah,
So a lot of times taking responsibilities, it feels
Yeah.
heavy.
It's like being a kid. It's like you're just if you're acting in a movie, you just audition, you just come in 1 month, you do your job, and then you say, see you later, see you 9 months down the line, you know, all the
Yes.
things are taken care of, everybody's making sure you're taken care of. You don't realize how privileged you are as an actor until you're doing a different job, until you're the grip, you know, until you're the last person wrapping everybody out on set. You don't realize how much of a privilege it is to just be like, I'm done, I'm going home. Yeah, but it's making movies can be so fun. It's just not for the weak of heart. It's not. It's a lot of rejection as an actor, but it's also a lot of, rejection also happens to producers and directors as well. There's people that they want to work with that they're busy or say no, and it happens all the time across the board.
Were there any point in time where, you were rejected so much that you're like, you know what, that's it, I don't want to be an actress anymore? Or it's never happens?
Oh my God, totally. I don't think that there's any actor, well, maybe there is, but I don't think that there's any actor that hasn't experienced that deep rejection and had to be like, I'm still gonna do it anyway. But yeah, I mean, my first really big rejection as an actor was when I auditioned for drama schools and I was rejected, and then I was like, I'm still gonna do it anyway. And then I got an agent, and then I auditioned and I got rejected some more, and then eventually I booked something, and I think that was the best lesson I ever learned.
Well,
from
never
drama
give up.
school. Yeah, from the drama school I never went to, was to how to take rejection.
I think, listen, I was the model when I started very young, and I think it was the best thing that happened to me, because it's the same thing like you go to auditions. I had auditions for modeling back then, and you just get so, used to hearing no, which it's like, okay, the biggest advice I always give, like, don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with you. It's because they're looking for acting. I guess it's the role they're trying to fit in, or this or that. But to me, it taught me that, keep going, never give up, and continue. Hearing no to me, it's like, okay, it doesn't mean anything. It's not, it doesn't give me the feeling like I want to quit. It actually, usually it's the opposite. When people tell me no, I'm like, oh, you watch me now. Like, yeah. This is just the beginning. I'm going to get so good that I was like, obviously it's a lesson I have to learn to get to that stage. That's why I think in your career, you have to be very, strong to get okay with eventually hearing all these rejections, and just learn how to overcome them, right?
Yeah. Also, I think, riffing off of that point, that rejection is not a no, it's just a not yet.
Yes, that's a good answer. I like that.
There's also that, a quote that's like, God's protection is God's rejection. That wasn't meant for you. That there's a reason that didn't happen. And I like to believe that it's not personal.
Yes.
And your thing is down the line. I have so many friends that are actresses, and there's only a small pool of projects right now, and everyone's going out for them. And if you're doing 2 projects a year as an actor, you're doing a really good job.
Oh, really?
There's a mentor of mine once told me that I was like, I've gone out for 40 things and I only booked 1 thing, and he said, if you go out for 30 projects and you book 1, you're doing a really, really good job, because there are actors that have done 200 auditions and haven't booked 1.
Wow.
And that's
a statistic. I didn't even know how many auditions do you do, and you have to memorize all those lines and just oh my God, you must have a really good memory. What do you take any supplement for that, or it's just you build the muscle?
Yeah, everybody remembers things in different ways. Like, some people are more of like they remember it in their body, or they remember it with like sense memory or emotional recall. Some people are really good at just memorizing lines, like they have a photogenic memory. I'm more of like an emotional recall kind of person, and I think I might store it in my body, but yeah, I'm really bad with like surface level memorization. Like, if I memorize something just for the words, I forget it. It's like, it's gone just like that. I really have to sit with it, and it has to mean something, or I forget it. And that's usually an indicator that I don't know. Like, I know my lines, but I don't know my lines. Like, I have to really know it, To really know it,
So what advice would you give to all the young man or woman who's trying to be an actor, and who is, in their just the beginning journey in Hollywood, to succeed in this days, or don't give up, or, it's like,
I guess just don't take rejection personally, and make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you're doing it because you love it, and there's nothing else that you can do. And I guess I'll reiterate a piece of advice that had been given to me, which is, don't act. Like, in both senses of the word. If there's anything else you can do other than acting, do that. That's probably better, especially with AI and, AI coming for our jobs. You should probably find a different career path, one that's got more longevity. And
are you afraid that AI one day will just...
For sure. I mean, it's already here with us, but it's basically the advice I'd give is just don't act. Because, I mean, even if AI takes our jobs, if you're really an actor for the right reasons, you'll be doing like theater, stage. Like, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Do you think
theater will still survive?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that there's going to be a big resurgence of theater, definitely. When movies become more AI, and the bracket for like what's getting made on what budget gets deeper, then I think actors will just take to the stage where true acting really happens. Yeah.
I see a lot of now big actors that go back to theater and on stage. I guess it's also you feel the audience right there, right? It's a different type of energy that's you when you're on stage and you see the reaction and you just feed off those emotions. It's completely different than being, taped on camera.
Yeah, there's also a feeling when people aren't on their phones and you're all in a moment together. It can be like a spiritual experience.
Wow.
It's like a football game. Like when everybody's really, really
yes,
locked in
or
on
the concert. I
something.
love concerts.
Yeah,
this is
concert.
the days, like if I'm on a concert
Exactly.
and I listen to the music and I usually like that vibration just give me like, oh my God, I
Yeah,
want to create. I want to do
exactly.
so many things.
There's a vibration and energy to it, and I think that that's missing for a lot of actors when they transition to film. It's like the way that you act is different, the way that you're connecting with people is different. It's kind of like feels imaginary and like removed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, I've done scenes in movies where I didn't have anyone I was talking to. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was just
So
a
you
blank wall, and I was having to act with like a green screen, and it was like, this isn't what acting is. Acting is reacting, and I'm I'm making it up. That's how I feel when I make audition tapes sometimes. I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like this isn't.
I mean,
the
you
craft.
have to be really good. I mean, I talk to myself sometimes, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
that's what it comes from. But
You're ever in your car and you're like just talking to yourself, playing out a conversation.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
when you're just trying to, like, if I want to say something to my boyfriend, I'm like, okay, I'm practicing. I'm like, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Or to my kids, like, okay, this is serious conversation.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same, but you're in the moment because you're feeling it. Exactly.
Yeah,
like
even if you don't say it out loud, you're just kind of talking to yourself and you start like giggling. That's so funny.
But, oh my God. But, so you being in many eyes of the Hollywood, and I know you're dating, is there, different ways how people look at you, or knowing that is it harder to date in the public eye?
Yes and no. Not really.
It's just hard in general, right?
Relationships are hard in general.
But being an actress, I feel like, is it, because sometimes you have to play with a different partner, or there's different scenes that can cause commotion in the relationship. Like your partner has to be a very secure man to be okay with you being, in different settings.
I feel like my partner is really secure. I feel like we're in a secure relationship, and that doesn't really affect us. I think we both have a lot of respect and understanding for each other.
But he's also in the movie industry.
Yes, he also
Have you
makes
ever
movies.
played together or been in the movie together?
We play together all the time. I mean, yesterday we were playing soccer, and work-wise, yes, we are working on something right now together, which I can't really talk too much about.
No, that's fine. Do you think it's harder to work with a person you leave, or like you in a relationship? Because I know for me, every time I did some project with my ex-husband, it was always harder because there's no limits between work and home, and you like working 24 hours versus like just working and going home and resting.
Yeah, you take your work home with you, and you can't just turn off. And it does present its own challenges, but it also is so beautiful in other ways. Like it strengthens the relationship as well. Anything that's hard, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's just, it can be really beautiful too when you guys share the same love of a project and its deep meaning, and you have a lot of conversations about it, and it can be really beautiful to get to make something with someone you love.
No, I think it's beautiful, especially now in our generation where the statistics say that soon, the relationship are not even going to last 7 years because people don't want to do the work. And, as you said, the relationship is work, building something together is work, but going through all those moments and memories, I think, create that bond and, something so magical, which is, it's different in this generation of fast scrolling, TikTok, everything being replaced and replaceable. It's definitely not the same as when I was raised, and like, okay, you have the marriage, you have to work on that. It was number one thing, like, hey, you gave the vows, and it's different even approach, I think, to this day relationship. So you're one of those lucky girls who has a beautiful relationship where you guys working, not just being together, but working together and creating something magical and beautiful. What's next for you? Where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years?
Hopefully I'm just happy. Hopefully the people I love are happy.
What's the happiness for you then? Because for everybody it's different. Like for me, you know, it's, of course, my kids being healthy is number one thing. Health is wealth. But creating where I can fulfill what's inside. What's for you being happy?
Health as well. You get to, you can't be happy if you're not healthy. Hopefully I'm just happy, peaceful. I'm still doing what I love to do. It's getting easier, maybe harder in new ways. It's always changing, and hopefully I get to express myself and grow as a person more and become something new.
But you want to stay in this movie industry, or maybe there is something that you want to create, like as a product or as there's a lot of actresses that start beauty brands or something, maybe online school for something. There's so many avenues now.
There are, I guess, well, I can't really predict what the future will be like in 5 years, but I do hope that I'm continuing to do this because I love to do it.
That's amazing.
So, in any capacity.
Well, thank you so much, Caylee, for coming to In Heels. And even you're not wearing heels, but I know every walk is a journey, and you're doing a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And thank you for watching In Heels with Keni Silva. And today we had beautiful Caylee Cowan.